will find like the new NAFTA versus old NAFTA will be maybe less difference, but the true situation is Canada and Mexico have no choice. If you have enough background information, you will know what I mean. I will tell you what's the real story here, but before that, I may need to get a response from the two teams leaders. I know that maybe both Lucas and Jacqueline may have the high pressure today, and hopefully you can just take it easy. I mean, certainly, my purpose is help to training the, I would not say, especially for domestic students, just because most of the international students will be a little bit more much familiar with this kind of English and also the discussion. So I still wish to have a great chance for each domestic student. So I guess maybe Eva or Sally or lots of people, lots of classmates may not really need it. I guess Eva Hansen or may not really need my help to improve English. But I think through this discussion have lots of benefits. So number one, domestic students can have a good training to share something in English. Number two, the international students can have a good chance to communicate with different countries. I mean, different countries have different culture, different style. Later I have another statistic to share with you. Will be quite interesting. So that's my purpose. And back to my question today. Later I need to team leader at least share something, your findings, your conclusions, your suggestions, your arguments, even your judgment to see what kind of situation between the old and new NAFTA. By the way, I would like to announce our field trip. We will have a field visiting tour trip on November 20, still Friday. And we will try our best to cover most of the expense except the rail tickets from Zhixie Station to Yilan Luodong Station. So if you feel this expense is too expensive, and that'll be fine, and you can enjoy your one week holiday. You don't need to necessarily to join our field trip. But if you do really want to join us, maybe after class you can contact I don't know, who want to respond for that, Betty, or maybe Betty, you can be the windows to help to record the information. Jacqueline has suffered too much pressure this morning. I would like her take it. But what kind of information you need to submit to Betty, like the name, your birthday, your photo ID, your passport ID, or ID here, and your contact information. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Jacqueline said they will send you an email to ask. And again, like the course is not all free, so maybe a little bit transferring cost. You need to take care of that. If you feel that's too expensive, that'll be fine. You can have a great holiday on that week. But if you want to come with us, we will take care with you the whole day trip, and then finish our field trip. We will let the people decide to stay in Taipei or back to Hualien. If you want to back to Hualien, we will bring you back. Okay? So November 20, you can save the day, and we arrange at least 2 to 3 different companies to take a business tour. You can see what's the real reality in the different companies. Okay, so that's my plan. I don't like to always stay here. So I wish our classroom have a different. Yesterday I mentioned to the other students, I wish if the sunny day and very good weather, maybe we can walk around the campus and have like the different style. All right, so who wants to go first? Lucas or Jacqueline? Lady first. Okay.
Very just
Thanks for Lucas. I know it's not easy, but
mungkin diantar ya.
Why Mexico decided to sign new NAFTA contract is because to protect the workers' rights. Although it can increase labor costs, but if Mexico don't sign this contract, they get nothing.
yes, it's probably true, yeah.
And the second is The update was seen as necessary to address recent emerging issues such as the rise of e-commerce, intellectual property protection, and the coordination of regulatory frameworks. Other outstanding issues such as those relating to the automotive and dairy industry also failed the development of the USMCA.
Okay. Okay. So that's it. Or others?
No.
Oh, okay. Thanks for sharing. I mean, let me quickly sum up with that. So certainly, apparently, like Mexico has no choice. Why? If you look at the transaction or market share rate, and also like the economic situation. If you look at the economic, Mexico maybe cannot suffer to escape this kind of like international trade barrier. Think about it, without the NAFTA or without the USMCA, how could Mexico fight with other international countries? So that's the key question. They still need the support from the other two countries. Okay, Lucas, maybe I should sum up after your presentation.
The Canada's farmers each year sell to Americans is over like 47 billion American dollars, US dollars per year, and the US government, the US farmers sell the farm products to the Canada is $39 billion. So you can see that the Canada is sell much more than the US government, so they can earn a lot of money from that. If they don't sign this contract, maybe they will lose this market in the US government, so they have to sign this. And also, actually the differences between the new NAFTA and the old NAFTA, the old NAFTA is not really it don't have so many differences. It only increased the export of US government. They can sell like 3.6% to the Canadian markets, and also they have no choice. They have to join this the new NAFTA. So yeah.
Okay, thank you for doing that. Let me quickly sum up the line. So number one, certainly they do not have other choices. And think about in Canada's case, because we have a video to talk about Mexico, so I may skip this one. But how about in Canada? If they do not join the NAFTA system, who is the main competitor with the Canada's dairy industry?
Yes.
Maybe United States, what else? I mean, main competitor, which means around the world in dairy industry. New Zealand. What else? Very good. Australia. That's true. So even for Europe have some countries have a good dairy industry actually. So think about Canada. If they want to fight with all these other foreign countries, is that easy? If they want to sell their goods to dairy goods to mainland China, they may need to cover the transportation cost along the way. So maybe still maintain the current situation is a good choice. So far, like the United States play the ranking #1 in dairy industry market share rate, ranking #1. So they better to keep this situation, although a little bit unfair in the new NAFTA deal. Eventually, two countries decide to sign first. I agree with Eva's viewpoints. It's not a truly real good decision among these three countries. I think more on political side. But still, eventually, the three countries all agree to sign this new NAFTA deal. Perhaps they will change a little bit later. I don't know. A few years later, maybe they found still unfair, so they may claim back. And this situation not just occur in NAFTA. Most of the international trade barrier dynamically change over time. So sometimes they feel some countries economic blue, some maybe not. So they will try to adjust this. Just let you see. Even for Europe also, United Kingdom tried to escape the Union for a couple years ago, and they still fighting with the debate inside the country. Last year we have 3 professors visit our program from the United Kingdom, and we talked about that. And they even don't really support this decision to escape the Europe Union. That's because it's kind of like a huge impact, not just for the United Kingdom, for lots of countries. So that's the first session I would like to discuss with you. Always think about that. International trade barrier is not always good. They have some advantage and some dark side. So that's why I give you several different videos. Number 2 topic I would like to share today is this one. I know this one I have no time. I put a detailed definition for each part, but I found that's too tedious for you and me. So I basically talk about the whole process among the cargoes from one country to another country, or one area to another area. They have a different stage. Mention the responsibility and the cost and insurance sometimes. So they have a different strategy. And they have different name, but I decided to give you a video. Although they originally have lots of terms, maybe 12. Here only reveal 6, but you can easily have a picture about how these terms work on the international trade. So when we talk about international trade, it means like you have to ship your cargoes from one country A to another country. So what kind of situation, what kind of cost, benefit, insurance, and responsibility should be taken care of here. So they have a different terminology here, the different terms and conditions. So I quickly let you.
This time, let us explain about Incoterms to understand very well. Incoterms is the trade term and condition, and it describes 3 English letters, such as CFR and FOB. There are 11 kinds of Incoterms in total. It is not easy to remember all 11 kinds of Incoterms, but please do not...
Just want to remind you, some of my students work on the customs, work on the international trade companies. You need to learn this. So those 11 kinds are really important for you, and which means in the future, if you really get a job in this area, you have to learn all of it. But today only I share 6 of them. If you want to learn the other 5, you can easily Google on YouTube. But just want to let you know the fundamental.
Worry. As a beginner course, let's focus on remembering 6 kinds which are used very often. It's okay to remember the rest of the others after remembering those basic 6 kinds of Incoterms. First of all, what is Incoterms? We need to understand this first. In trade terms and conditions, Incoterms is mentioned clearly who pays the freight in the different steps of the cargo delivery, and who has the responsible for those cargoes in the different steps of the cargo delivery between sellers and buyers. Please understand those 2 points first. As international trades, there are different steps and procedures for the cargo's delivery. Through those steps, we decide to mention in Incoterms about the range of the money payment and the timing of the cargo release. When the cargo trouble happens, it will be difficult to have a good business deal as long as both the seller and buyer do not recognize and follow the clear rule mutually. For avoiding the troubles, sellers and buyers must make deals based on the international rule.
So male means a seller, female means a buyer.
This time, we will explain to you about 6 basic Incoterms, which are used very often in trade business. Ex works, FOB, CFR, CIF, DAP, DEP. These 6 are today's topics. Let us explain one by one. First of all, it's ex works. Ex works is also called the ex works as well. Sellers pass the cargoes to the buyers at the factory and exporting place. Buyers, importers, make all payments such as transportation fee from the factory to the delivery places and importing side. The responsibility of the cargo is moved from the seller to the buyers as soon as sellers finish to load the cargo from the factory to the containers. In other words, ex works is the easiest trade condition for the sellers. Next, It's FOB. FOB is the trade terms and conditions that the responsibility of the cargoes move from sellers to.
By the way, I mean, most of you, including me, even though through the whole video, you cannot immediately remember everything. So this link is attached in my slides. You can go back on to watch one by one, but I just quickly like to have some quick image in your mind.
To buyers, after the cargoes are on the board and exporting side. Sellers pay the local transportation fee and exporting side. Buyers pay the ocean freight and delivery fee in the importing side in the terms and conditions. The next is CFR. CFR is used to call as cost and freight, but CFR is the correct word. In CFR, sellers pay all freight costs from the factory and exporting side to the port and import side. Importers pay the rest of costs, such as shipping fee and transportation fee from the importing port to the delivery place. Before talking about the movement of the cargo responsibility in CFR, let us explain about CIF. CIF is the same as CFR. Sellers pay all freight costs from the factory and exporting side to the port and import side. The different point between CFR and CIF is an insurance. In CIF, I stands for insurance. Sellers have to arrange the insurance for the cargo delivery. We are now explaining about the cost and the cargo responsibility in CFR and CIF. In both CFR and CIF, the delivery cost is on exporters from the factory and exporting side to the port and import side. However, the responsibility of the cargo and handling the cargoes are the same as FOB. Those are moved from exporter.
See, a little bit complicated. So they pay the cost from different stage, but responsibility is quite different. You see, so that's why they have lots of turn and
to importers once the cargo is loaded on the board of the vessel. This point makes us to misunderstand, so please be cautious to remember this point. We talked about the insurance a little. In international logistics, the cargo is handled by the crane, swinging in the vessel, and then it takes a long voyage time to be delivered to the importing side. In the container vessel, there are other containers with dangerous cargoes. We have sometimes heard about the story that the dangerous cargo was on the fire and the fire burned out the other containers. Unfortunately, no one does not guarantee for the cargoes if you don't get the cargo insurance. We will feel so much secure as we get the insurance. No one knows what happens in the international logistics. We strongly recommend to our customers to get the cargo insurance every time. Let us talk back about Incoterms. The fifth one is DAP. DAP is the trade term and condition that sellers pay all costs and take all responsibility for the cargo until it is delivered in the certain places. In other words, this trade terms is called door-to-door. Let's take a look with DDP together. DDP is the same.
Door-to-door is also very common actually. Right now, like most of the people like to pursue like the convenience. So for example, in my case, when I decide to move back from United States to Taiwan, I rely on this DDP because it's much easier for me. Without a DDP, what will happen? You need to bring your cargoes in the whatever port and drive your car, bring back. Is that easy? Not that fun, yeah, because you may have lots of the large packages. So right now, most of the common cases, people like to use this service. The previous maybe related to the we call it B2B logistics, but the final end is much more close to the B2C or international B2B2C.
Same as DAP. Sellers arrange all logistics from the factory and exporter side to the specific delivery places and importer side. Seller, exporter will take both delivery cost and cargo responsibility until the specific delivery places in import side. The different point between DAP and DDP is the payment of the import tax, which exporters or importers pay for it. In DAP, import custom tax and consumption tax is paid by the importers. On the other hand, in DDP, sellers as exporters pay both import custom tax and consumption tax. Sellers will pay all transportation costs, including taxes. Now, let's look back about the cost and responsibility of Incoterms. Ex works is the trade term that importers will arrange all logistics from picking up the cargoes at the factory and exporting places to the specific delivery places in importer side. Importers pays all the delivery costs until the delivery places and take all responsibility for the cargo delivery. FOB is the trade term that exporters will arrange to pay the cost and take the responsibility until the cargoes will be loaded on the vessel in the exporter side. And then importers will arrange to pay all costs, including ocean freight and delivery fee to the importing places, and the importers will take cargo responsibility as well. In CFR and CIF, exporters will pay all costs for the cargoes until the cargo will be delivered in the port of importing side. Importers pay local costs in importing side until the cargo will be delivered in the specific places. The attention point is the switching step of the cargo's responsibility. It is the same as FOB, that the cargo's responsibility is moving from sellers to the buyers when the cargoes are on the board of the vessel. Lastly, in VAP and VVP, exporters take.
I think it's just different between the text, so you can go back on to check. That's it. Okay. So my slides have all others maybe not covered here, but I even have a EQ or something. But you can see they related to a different. Yellow means buyer, green means seller with a different responsibility and with a different importance. And eventually we have 11 kinds of that, but this video talk about 6 of them. Doesn't matter, just want to let you know the details of that, so you can go back to check. Okay, so let's move to the slides I would like to keep sharing today. Today I would like to talk another thing is we call a Global Logistics Performance Index. So, number one, why we need this kind of index? You want to guess?
What is index?
This index is mainly want to measure the performance among the different countries. Every 2 years, they will do a survey and try to evaluate that, have to publish a report. And those reports will cover around 160 countries and certain different areas to see your performance among those 6 different kind of indicators. Why they need to do so? So for example, like if I'm the government, I don't know, government leader, government manager, I need to know which part we should improve to enhance our international international power to dominate the regional transportation, the regional logistics, or we want to develop very strong international supply chain infrastructure. This kind of report can help you to know how's your performance among the past 10 years or past 5 years, so you can observe the trend among the different situations. So it's very good to help to tell you the how good or how bad your country is right now. So this is good, first of all. But how to evaluate that before we see the details? How you think? If we want to evaluate one country, for example, like the United States, the global logistics performance, what kind of indicator you want to involve? I mean, indicator means like what kind of like the evaluation method you want to bring in to give the United States a score. Maybe in the United States, maybe think about your own country or whatever country you want to target. What kind of evaluation method you think is very important to put a national-wide standard and can fairly evaluate different countries? Any idea with that?
Dwelling time. Dwelling time.
What kind of?
Dwelling time.
Can we talk more details? Explain with your indicators.
It's like when your package is arrived in the port, and then you need to wait until pass some like a.
Okay. All right. So Andy mentioned the dwell time, right? We call it dwell time means like for how long your containers stay in this port. You can guess maybe the dwell time is shorter is better, which means they can easily to transfer to other countries, other ports, and it's also highly related to several things. Number one is efficiency. call the throughput. So if the dwell time is very short, which means they can easy to transfer, the throughput will increasing, and we use the throughput to be one kind of like the measurement to evaluate the port performance around the world. So ranking number 1, as I mentioned before, is the Shanghai Yangshan port. Ranking number 2, previously Singapore, maybe, I don't know what already happened. So they have a ranking with among the port. So very good. Number 1, dwell time may be one kind of good indicator, although they have a different name there, but you can think about it. Efficiency may be number 1. So if they can processing the containers and cargoes as soon as possible, very good, right? What else? How could we, yeah.
The trace and the track for the consignment.
Very good. At least you want to know tracking. Where is our cargoes? Now, where is our containers? And for how long they will arrive at the destination? So maybe very good. Real-time tracking capability is also very important. What else?
Infrastructure.
What kind of infrastructure?
I mean the facility for in the port or the transportation station like airport or that other port. I mean some station that your cargo will get in or get out.
Very good. Okay, infrastructure is also very important. But like for how easy you can access to this port and get your containers out, and road, it depends on road conditions, road infrastructure, and also like how smooth you connect with that. So if you join our visiting trip on November 20, you can also observe this situation. Taipei Port is one major port in Taiwan right now, and you can see the road condition, how easily we can access to that, and that's a good observation indicator. Okay, we have the dwell time, we have the real-time tracking, we have the infrastructure available to evaluate how good for the logistic performance in this country, in the target country. Yeah, please.
I'm not sure if this.
It doesn't matter, yeah, you can guess first, yeah.
Yeah, I think security may be an important thing.
Oh yeah, very good. Security also very good, yeah.
Because if stuff keeps getting stolen in a logistics channel, then something is wrong.
Very good. Security, I think previously we talked about this issue just because of the terrorist attack or like the illegal turn just through the containers to import. But right now, maybe we have a new issue, like maybe we worry about COVID-19 because like some cargoes may bring the COVID, I don't know, virus to. So right now, security is lots of issue, but especially based on the terrorist attack, because like maybe the bomb there. So security is also very, very important. Very good. So we have the efficiency, we have the real-time tracking, we have the infrastructure, we have the security, maybe and safety. So what else should include to be included? Okay.
I think when the cargo comes, we have to pass the custom, right?
Yes.
Yeah, the custom. So I think the custom is one of the performance index for it.
Okay, very good. Maybe we can conclude with the efficiency, but custom operation is also very important. How to make sure the custom the cargoes can pass through the customs very fast. You can think about if you have the experience to travel abroad, you bring your passport, you still need to go some safety examination. So similar to the weighing custom operation. So maybe they will check your documentation. They will check the hospital inside for the cargoes, and they will see, should we really look more in detail, how many percentage of containers we should open that to check it inside. So all this will involve the operation, but that's a trade-off. You can quickly know like if we want to pursue a very good custom operation, efficiency, which means you will lower down your security and safety level, right? Because like it depends on how many percentage of a container you want to open and check inside. And you want to guess how in general, on average, how many percentage of containers will be open to check You know, to guess how many percentage? Which means like one container may bring like 8,000 to 10,000 containers each time. We have so many containers waiting for the custom operation. Definitely, you may not be able to check one by one. It's really time consuming. But how many percentage you think is a good number to check? 25, 30%?
Less than one.
Less than one? Well.
I think it's up to the cargo inside.
Very good. Okay, and let's talk about general. In general, around 15% to 25% in general. But sometimes depends. So if you check like this cargo, maybe a little bit dangerous. We will talk about this issue next week actually. Here we call it Herodotus movement. So maybe you have to better to see what's inside. Number two, if this company or this maritime company has a bad record, maybe the percentage also, because the credit is a little bit low, so you better to open more. But in general, around 15% to 25%. In certain situations, especially under the political across the Taiwan Strait, between Taiwan and mainland China, the worst case, they lift the percentage to 35%. But you can imagine like even below just 10%, which means every ship, if they carry around 8,000 containers, you need to dig them more, like 800 more, which means really time consuming and also lower down your efficiency. Okay, what else? How to give the scores to evaluate the global logistics performance?
How about the environmental pollution?
It's very important actually. Environment pollution. Yes, I would say yes. And I'm not so sure how they evaluate this so far because they have lots of terms within the different type of category. But environment pollution is also very important because right now we want to pursue the low polluted, especially if you carry on some like the waste or like carry on some like nuclear waste or something. You better to consider this. How about else?
It's about the cost, maybe like transportation cost or something, because even with the global logistics, they have to decrease the transportation cost as much as they can, but they have to maintain the quality of the delivery.
Okay, so for each let me see. Lower down the transport cost, maintain the high quality will be one. But think about that, this is we call a national-wide evaluation. So sometimes may be controlled by government. Some may be controlled by the private company. In this case, they mainly pursue the government side. So this score is very good. Like some scores will try to evaluate. This time they decide to